Huh. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I welcome you all at Digital Management Conclave, organized by Asia, supported by Department of Science and Technology and Gujarat Informatics Limited. Today, we do have yet another interesting session on AgriTech, and we do have a bouquet of speakers who really carry a great experience with them. And we'll have the use cases, and we'll really like to know examples from the grassroots to the latest technology, including satellite technology, which is more prominent today in AgTech. So right from ERP to AI to blockchain, everything will be there in next 30 minutes, and we assure you will keep it simple, stupid. Okay, we'll keep it simple, stupid, so you all can understand. We'll not have great jargon. These all are the people who have seen the domain very closely. First of all, I would like to introduce Deepak, who is passed out of SPNIT long back. And if I formally introduce him, then Mr. Deepak Pareek is basically a founder of HnyB, as you can see on his t-shirt itself. He is a Policy Review Committee, National Institute of Agriculture, Economics and Policy Research, Government of India, and convener of Global Grain and Pulses Council, agriculture economist and business strategist honored by the World Economic Forum. He also spoke to Davos, and he also interacted with Mr. Schwab also, not the same day. So he's fortunate among all of us to have that exposure. Mr. Deepak is well-accredited technocrat honored as top 10 and agripreneur in 2019 by Future Agro Challenges, Greece Technology Pioneer 2018, World Economic Forum Switzerland, top 10 social entrepreneurship by UNDP, Geneva, and he also served as a member of the expert panel of the World Economic Forum and Digital Transformation. He has been an active voice in the agriculture and food space with the demonstrated evangelism in areas of agriculture policy, food safety and security. And probably apart from that, he's a person whom I always seen speaking very straight and to the point, irrespective who is the opponent. So he's very bold in keeping his views, and he saw the technology, and if I'll say unofficially, then he might have explored more than 45 countries in the world to understand the agriculture, what farmers are doing in field. So he approached every nooks and corners of the world, every nooks and corners of India, and carry a great experience with him. And first I'll invite him, and then we'll see. Thank you, Deepakji. This is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I would like to make a small presentation to set the context, because I believe, it is very important for all of us to understand why agriculture. So you would have been since the morning you're talking about semiconductors, IoT, and all sort of technology. But why in agriculture we in fact need to even talk about technology? Because many of you would be thinking it's food, right? Farmer produces it. Thank God they produce it, and why we should be worried. We are having such a beautiful conclave on digitization, and here what we are talking about is agriculture. Now, agriculture is one of the most important sector, and I'll just tell you why it is very important. Now, this slide should scare you, and scare you substantially. We are talking about 1 billion people in the world, out of close to roughly 8.2 billion people who live this world. They are food insecure. They are not getting food to eat. They are not having sufficient nutrients. And I'll give one more data. Every third child who is wasted, stunted is an Indian. So when we sit in all these beautiful conferences, we forget that actually there is one more India which is not getting sufficient food. And then there is a world outside where actually every 1 person out of 8 is not getting food. So please don't waste food. That's one important part. Now, actually, why it is important that now we talk about technology in agriculture? Because we are still growing. Human race has not stopped. Right? We had a COVID, but at the end of the day, it has not taken sufficient number of people which can still keep us a flock which can sufficiently feed themselves. No, we don't. So if we see that by 2100 we'll be having 11 billion people. Right? And 2050 around 9 million people. How will we feed them? To feed them, we are also having another challenge I'll talk about, which is climate change, which is reducing the productivity. Now, given scenario, we need 70% more food to feed the world population by 2050. But do we have sufficient land? Do we have 70% additional land? No, the land has been taken care of by a beautiful, we saw a beautiful land, right? Millennium City or a future city, right? So we have been taken care of. Land is for urban development, it is for industry, it is for fabs, right? the semiconductor plant. Now I'm very, I'll say that, surprised that definitely I cannot eat microchips, neither semiconductors. How many of us can become transformers who can consume semiconductors? Only time will tell. Currently we cannot. So we still will have to rely on food. Now this is another challenging numbers. Because of lack of time I won't go through all of them. But 2 billion people are obese and 2 billion people are having micronutritional deficiency. That is 50% of the world population. अपने आसपास देखिए या तो बहुत कमजोर दिखेगा या बहुत मोटा दिखेगा मेरे जैसा. Now that's a problem. We are having a problem with the food, right? Second problem is that food or agriculture, we always say that actually help farmer, blah blah blah. Food and agriculture is not just the victim of climate change, it is also culprit of climate change because 30% of greenhouse gases, GHGs, are because of agriculture. Only after the energy. 70% to 80%, depending on which country you pick, the fresh water withdrawal is in agriculture. Punjab and Haryana, we have made it dry because of agriculture. So if you don't get water, then what? So what does that tell? That tells that actually we cannot continue the way we are farming today. We have to be more productive for per drop of water being used and per acre of the land being used. Now this is India. The beauty with India is that in 10 years, we'll need close to 20% more cereals, 60% more pulses. Pulses we are already importing 25%. I'm saying still we need more. We'll import more. That means oil seed, that is vegetable oils. चाहे आप सरसों का तेल लेते हो or you might be having the cotton seed oil or the palm oil, we import 60% of it and we need to import. If we say in next 10 years, currently we are importing close to $10 billion. It might end up we'll be importing more than 28 to $30 billion in next 10 years. Now, this is where we have to understand. Currently we feed 1.45 billion people, and आप में से काफी लोगों ने सुना होगा like hunger index में we are 105 and everybody says no, data is wrong. How can we can be behind Bangladesh? Yeah, like come on, that's not fair. See, the world has changed. Previously the food or hunger was only because that whether you are getting carbohydrates or not. Today it is about protein, vitamins, minerals, and we are actually 105. That's a ground reality. So we are a country where actually food is the acute food and nutrition security is the acute problem. We need to solve it. But at the same time, we produce 600 million metric tons of different type of food. So that we say that we are the number one producer, number one consumer, number one importer, exporter. Altogether, if we say that. But at the same time, our global trade is just 2% on agriculture. We are talking about $80 billion worth of inward and outward trade. So we are nowhere. So while we say that we have become a Vishwa Guru, India everybody is sufficiently taken care of because we might have just had a good food here. But there is one India which is not having food and we have to think about it. But why this DMC is irrelevant? Because only according to me, being a technocrat, one way of solving India's food problem and the world's food problem, that is technology. What are those technologies? While actually we talk about, okay, let me just touch upon this also very shortly. See, climate change is a big problem because it reduces your productivity. So for example, past 2 years we are not having sufficient amount of feed being produced in India because there was heat waves all the time. So from something around 110 million metric tons of production of wheat, we have gone down this year to 94. Previous year it was even worse, 92 million metric tons. So we are directly seeing the impact of climate change, and currently you see that there is a La Nina effect which is actually having the rainfall even in October in Karnataka, and which has taken care of a lot of crop has been disturbed, the tuar dal you eat, it is being impacted, cotton is being impacted. So there are a lot of crops which are getting impacted because of this seasonality changing. So climate change is in the room and it is going to impact us badly. Now this is now what is important. While we talk about other industries, it is so easy. We talked about silicon, fabs, your semiconductors coming, the PCB going into Apple, and the gentleman very rightly said that Apple make 80% with the IP. Yes, they made 80% of the IP, and a lot of us also buy that Apple phone. But at the same time, you have to understand there are people in the world who live below $1 a day. Right? They cannot afford the food. And why they cannot afford the food? Because of this. See the complexity. So you are having every possible player involved in agriculture. Government made policy, then you are having bank and financial institution, then you are having agri input companies, agri output companies, commodity suppliers, then FMCG companies, right? हवा भर के आपको ना लेस का 30 रुपए का पैकेट चिपका देते हैं जिसके अंदर 3 रुपए की वैल्यू है. right? So we are having all sort of complexities in agriculture. It is not that straightforward process that you build a good supply chain and the things will be taken care of. But at the center of it, there is one guy which I call a poor farmer. एक गरीब किसान जो हरदम गरीब रहेगा. And then we said that we give subsidy to farmer. How many of you believe we give subsidy to farmer? Can you raise your hands? Right? Now those who have raised their hands are wrong because farmer subsidizes us. Because globally, what happens is that you want to keep inflation low because people can buy iPhones. Right? So what we do is that we don't care. तुअर के भाव में आग, थाली से गई दाल, तेल हुआ महंगा, right? शक्कर हुई कड़ी. These are like CNBC और ZIT न्यूज़ सुनेंगे तो आपको ये सुनने को मिलेगा. कभी सुना है आपने? एप्पल ने किया 3 गुना फोन हुआ खराब, नहीं बोलते ना, right? There we are able to pay whatever, but 2 रुपए भाव बढ़ गया अगर किसी कमोडिटी का, then we are everybody shouting on the top from the minister to मंत्री से मंत्री सब बोलने लग जाते हैं बहुत महंगी पड़ गई. Now this can only be solved, I believe, by enhancing the productivity where the digital play comes in. Now these are 3 key technologies which I believe are very important when we talk about increasing productivity. One is the blockchain, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and then definitely Internet of Things. Now why they are critical? They are critical of very simple reason that when we talk about precision agriculture, first of all we have to reduce the cost of cultivation for the farmer. Now how do you do that? You need to understand soil. Now this is InSoil, is one of the state-of-the-art patented device by a company called Absolute, and this actually gives you in 13 minutes 14 parameters telling you what is there in your soil, costing you hardly anything. Now currently actually when you go you do chemical analysis and it's right, it's very long process. 30 दिन के अंदर गवर्नमेंट रिजल्ट देता है कि एक्चुअली आपकी सॉइल कैसी है. जब तक वो किसान बैठा थोड़ी सोचा इट्स नॉट अबाउट टेकिंग अ वीजा फ्रॉम जर्मन और ब्रिटिश एम्बेसी, राइट? आई विल वेट एंड देन एक्चुअली आई विल गो व्हेन आई गेट द वीजा. नो, ही हैज टू सो द क्रॉप, सो ही हैज टू नो immediately actually what is the condition of his soil, and this is once he understands the condition of the soil, he would be reducing the use of fertilizers because he knows exactly what needs to be put in. So his cost of cultivation will go down and he will become someone who will make a little bit more money and you will have less poison in your food. Yes. Otherwise you will have, उसको बोल दिया है 1970 की किताब में 200 किलो यूरिया पर हेक्टर डालना है, राइट? वो डालेगा और उसमें हमने सब्सिडी दे दी है, थैंक गॉड, राइट? सो गवर्नमेंट पेज फॉर गिविंग यू पॉइजन, राइट? बट again government is having policy of like soil health plan, but nobody uses it. But I believe now the technology is there, and this also create a global map of what the soil is happening. So if the test is happening in Africa, is in India, where on a map actually you know exactly soil, and then you can use AI tools to understand that what could be the possibility 100 kilometers down the line. It might not be that precise, but still you have some indication. Other than today, I don't even know what there is in my soil. So again, this is a best example of IoT, where you are using actually digital spectrometry, right? In fact, dual spectrometry, which is actually the patent which they have got. Generally, you do single spectrometry, it's double spectrometry. Everything goes into the cloud. AI engine tells you the efficacy of the data, correct the data, and tells you exactly what's there in the soil. So this is a best example. So I am just talking about use case. I'm not talking about the hypothesis. क्या हो सकता है? ये हो रहा है. And this is going to reduce the cost of cultivation. Second, blockchain. Now, why blockchain is so important? Blockchain is important because actually with provenance, it tells you from which origin the product is come. It ensures that in case there is some problem, for example, आपका एक सब्जी खरीदी आपने, you have gone to the supermarket and you found that lettuce is actually not good. It is having E. coli in that. Now you have one option. For example, if I am Reliance, I have to dump all the E. coli, all the cabbage which I am having, all the green leafies which I am having, or using blockchain, I can know exactly what is the source, and from that source, whatever thing is being given to any other supermarket, I remove that. Similarly for the meat, similarly for aquaculture, blockchain ensures like you trace it back to the origin, and you can say, for example, is this mango which is being sold in, for example, London, Harrods, whether it is actually coming from Ratnagiri or it is actually coming from Thailand, being said Indian Alpanzo. So those type of things gives possibility. And secondly, the type of data you collect, that data can be used to give a lot of advisory information to the farmers themselves, to the supply chain players as well as you can give that data to government, who can find out actually is somebody fleecing you, buying raw material of tuar, that is pigeon pea for 70 rupees and giving you dal for 230 rupees, right? And not the farmers, but other people are making money out of it. So this is where the blockchain plays a very important role. Now I would not delve too deep into this because definitely my friend from Amnex will be talking about it. Remote sensing. Now remote sensing is a very critical part because actually it is just like eye in the sky. A lot of information, unlike in the past, can be actually using satellite, can be, I'll say that, digitized and analyzed to tell you exactly what's happening in your farm. So with the pixel level of like, going up to something around 30 to 40 centimeters, you would be able to very clearly identify that which part of your farm is having distress because of water. In fact, I will give you an example. One of the farm I visited, actually, we were in Nashik, and satellite said that actually, this spot actually you are having the grapes which are not getting sufficient water. And the farmer said, no, my grapes are doing very well. It was a large farm, Nashik, there are very large farms for grapes. And when we went there, the problem was there. So satellite was able to see from the sky, but actually it was very difficult for farmer to do that. And this is where I believe, and secondly, again, I was in a plantation in Indonesia, you have palm. So palm, they are having infestation because of something which is known as stem borer. And actually, this infestation is only known once actually the plant stop producing. And one palm tree replacement is 3.5 years of loss. So you cultivate it for 3.5 years, it start giving you fruit, and then actually there is a problem in that, then you are gone. Why? Because now the replacement again 3.5 years. So in that scenario, what happened is that again using remote sensing through drones, by heat sensing sensors, you are able to identify even the day the infestation has happened because the stem borer would leave a heat signature. So those type of remote sensing is possible, and with that remote sensing, actually government can do a lot of things. First thing is that they can make better policies. For example, everybody is confused. Every year we have record production of grains, but every year the price is increasing. I am not able to understand that economics, right? So this year we are having bumper production of wheat, but the price is at 32 rupees, which is 40% above MSP. Now I am surprised. Either the economics is wrong or actually the numbers are wrong. I would say that numbers are wrong. Though still working with the government, I always tell them actually your problem is with your numbers, problem is not with the economics. Right? When there is scarcity, people will pay more money. So that's what's happening. So again, with remote sensing, we'll be having more authenticated data, but will government take it or not? That's $1 million question because they don't want to be transparent. That is what I strongly believe. And but they are also right, they don't want America to know that actually we are in scarcity of wheat, right? So that is what this is. It's a national security issue. That's why the numbers are a little bit right and left. Don't worry about it. I am saying that that's a policy level decision they have to take, but it is possible technically, to have exactly farm-based advisory, to have policy-based advisory. And we also do, my own company does that. Actually, we do a lot of predictive analytics on the prices. So for past 3 years, we have been accurate up to the level of 92% on 5 commodities: wheat, rice, pigeon pea, chickpeas, and black market. Pigeon pea, we failed this year. It is not that we failed because our algorithm is wrong. Supply and demand is still that way. But you know that actually sometimes there are multiple organizations who come together and then they want to create some artificial numbers in the market. That also happened, right? But when we talk about the splits, we are accurate. Raw material, we were not accurate. So again, you can also predict the price of the commodity, and then if you are agro commodity company, you can take call on whether and how and you want to, what is the date you want to source. Now with that, I would like to, I know that it's not moving, so can next. No, we'll be on the last slide only, but okay. Then it's hang now. Hang again. Yeah. So they don't want anybody to get out of AI and ML. Then that's not a problem. So now I would, okay, so CRISPR-Cas we'll scale. Now this is just 1 minute I'll take. Now a lot of people tell me that actually whatever you're doing is for big companies. 5 years we tracked a project in which in Sabarkata, 3,000 farmers, potato and groundnut and 2 crops. And on the right you see the actual impact. Right? The first year itself, the impact was productivity increase of 18%, 34% profitability, 10% different cost of cultivation. In 5 years, actually we doubled the income of farmer. But that is what the Modi ji's vision was. So whether the government isn't able to do it or not, we did it. And with that, I would like to thank all of you for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Great insight. Within 10 minutes, you explained the entire things, and this is informal data, but let me share with you. At present, we are getting pigeon pea at almost 50 rupees reduced price than exactly what is supposed to happen. Deepak ji did an intervention for government of India, and because of that, we could import it from Africa. And he is a grassroots worker. As I said, he travels a lot. He speaks almost 8 to 10 international conferences in a year, getting a great exposure. Naturally explain the technology also, satellite technology also, remote sensing and everything. So they are very crucial and critical areas. We are always crying that farmers are not earning and poor farmer image that we do have in our mindset. But he rightly said farmers are subsidizing food for us. वो हमसे अमीर है और हम subsidized food खा रहे हैं because of them. और आईफोन की लाइन में क्यू में खड़े रह के हम आईफोन खरीदते हैं और दाल चावल के लिए हम सब्सिडी मांगते हैं सरकारों से. तो ये एक irony of the situation है. You rightly explained. Our next speaker is Mr. Mihir Dakwala. He's a postgraduate from IIT Kharagpur. I'll briefly describe his biosketch. With over 2 decades of experience at the forefront of the technology and innovation, he currently steers the agriculture technology division at Amnex InfoTechnologies, a pioneer crafting state-of-the-art solutions to our global challenges. His journey is in the tech sphere span about big data, artificial intelligence, machine learning, satellite, remote sensing, IoT, and digital transformation. Underpinning his role to harnessing these technologies to revolutionize the agri-tech sector. At Amnex, he is instrumental in enhancing the product value through innovative AI applications and establishing the competitive edge through strategic partnerships and expansive sales strategies. He is also currently working with the government of Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, and most of the digitization in farm and farm technologies and farmers are happening through Amnex. He successfully completed few of the pilots also for government of India. And let's listen his insight for 8 to 10 minutes. Ms. Mihir, please welcome. You can start the PowerPoint. Yeah, please. Yeah. You can speak from there.
गुड आफ्टरनून ऑल.
Close रखना.
मोस्ट प्लान सेशन है फिर भी वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द फूड. अब अभी फूड खा के ही आए.
Next.
So I will focus more about the climate change and how the IoT and weather forecasting will help in this. So first of all, thank you very much for this year to invite me. Bhavin sir, and along with Vivek sir is here, who is our mentor since the beginning last. For 14 years he is continuously guiding us, whether it is mobility or particularly technology development, how you can expand your product, how you can scale up your products. So sir has helped, particularly me. I am admire him very much.
Can you be a little louder, please?
Yeah. If you want this mic, you can use it a bit louder. विवेक बोगरा जी सबके हमारे दोस्त भी हैं और सबके मेंटर हैं. सर मेंटर का स्टेटस देते हैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे से आपको. चलिए भैया क्लैप फॉर विवेक जी को
Some technology issue in the age of AI.
नहीं, टेक्नोलॉजी लेवल सपोर्ट टेक्नोलॉजी ये एक कॉमन है. Meanwhile, let me introduce our third speaker. हो गया वो? नहीं वो कंटिन्यू करिएगा स्पीकर कोई बात नहीं. No rush. We will continue with Hetal madam. So our next speaker in the line, Hetal Shah madam. Let me briefly introduce her. Please, ma'am. Yeah, please. Hetal Shah ma'am, a remarkable blend of social responsibility and agriculture expertise. When I first received her profile, I was really astonished to see that whether she is a good researcher or she is a social worker or she is a businesswoman. So not a blend, but it's a blend which happened. But glad to meet her today. From morning we are doing conversation and I'm really happy. Few of my ex-students who are exporting to China and some other countries, she also knows him and he also conveyed the regard. So Hetal Shah is being the director, stands as a beacon of inspiration for the entire team, making a difference in the farmer communities, has a fuel the organization mission in sustainability. Beyond her role with the organization, Hetal is actively engaged in various social activities and initiatives, extending the impacts beyond the profit margins. She has a strong partnership with local communities and non-profit organizations. She aims to uplift the marginalized group with her community development programs, majorly in the field of natural farming and sustainable practices. Her compassionate leadership style empowers a team to embrace the corporate social responsibility. Hetal actively supports and mentors aspiring individuals, particularly women, in their pursuit of professional success. She believes in nurturing talent, breaking down the barriers, and fostering an inclusive workplace where everyone can thrive. At the helm of organization, Hetal leads by an example, blending business acumen with a compassionate heart. As I rightly said, she's a businesswoman, but also doing great work. And sustainability is everything in Millennium Development Goal earlier, turned to the Sustainable Development Goal. And in the entire world today, people are talking about sustainability. So it's epitome of human life on the earth. So Hetal, ma'am, please share us your experience and the kind of intervention you foresee in agriculture domain, please.
Thank you. First of all, I gave answer on first question. I started my journey as a social worker, converted into researcher, and finally businesswoman. I know Satya.
So full mark to this gentleman because he briefly described and we need to give credit to him.
Yeah.
Great. Very precise and succinct way of communicating her entire profile. Great.
Yeah. So yes, my work has been easy because Mr. Deepak has shared what is farming. He shared a black picture, or we can say a question mark, that where we are going, right? So let me introduce just myself. I have started my journey with agriculture with 320 farmers of Surendranagar district with my partner Amitabh Singh, and who is my mentor. And today we are working with 80,000 farmers in India, and all 80,000 farmers are doing climate supportive farming. Because who are agriculture experts, they know that that is not easy, because before few years back we talk about green revaluation. And like in green revaluation we use lots of urea, lots of DAP. And now we are thinking we lost our soil. We lost our natural quality of food and everything. So now we are going back. It's like fashion. Earlier we were using bell bottom jinnataman, and then we come to the leggings and again bell bottom, right? So same in agriculture. So two things I want to share, that whatever data says sometimes right or wrong, but we are working directly with the farmers. So 2-3 points what I want to share with you also, that it is not possible that on a single day we can change the farming practices, because we can change farming practices. It's like antibiotics to homeopathy. Right. So suddenly farmer will adopt any organic practices or sustainable practices, farmer will lose at least 30 to 40% yield, which is question mark for food security, which is question mark for his or her economy. So trial and error, we are also trying to develop those type of package of practices who can support food security, who can support climate change. And this type of innovations we are doing with the fields. I want to just share some of the innovations. Like Deepak sir said, food security, yes, it is a very basic problem. So recently, in international level, there are lots of standard, which is called organic standard, regenerative agriculture standard, climate supportive, but farmer only wants money, that's all. Yeah. This is reality. If I go and say farmer that use AI, he said, मेरे को क्या लाभ मिलेगा? Simplicity. हम भी जब जॉब करते हैं, कोई 1000, 2000, 3000 ज़्यादा देता है, तो मैं सत्यार्थ की कंपनी छोड़ के कहीं और चली जाऊँगी. This is reality with farmer also. So looking to the scenario, there are 2-3 my request also this IT platform. That in rural India we are working with more than 80,000 farmers and 7 states of India. For farmers, internet and technology stops with YouTube and Facebook Reel. This is reality, sorry to say, all IT people, hardly 15% farmers using real satellite images, soil report, data, everything. This is where we are. Last month I was in Europe, and one lady is having 2,000 hectare land and having 20 labor. And India we have a 4 hectare land and 20 labor, and that are also waiting for the labor. So this is another scenario. 2 hectare farmers are not capable to invest 500 rupees for AI. So this is only I am not against AI. I am not studying. I want to try that. This is very good platform. We have a good software engineers, we have a good IT engineers, IT softwares, we have a good technology like Mihir have, Deepak sir shared. But ultimately we could not able to use our technology in our country. So all together we have to find out the solution. How? That I don't know. Maybe together policy level we guys do something. So looking to this scenario, we are also trying to develop some innovation models, like where we are working in very backward area of Orissa. There is, if one woman want to learn computer, she has to travel at least 30 kilometers from village. This is village where we are working. So in that village, we have tried to develop a 500 women cotton grower group, and we pitched this project to H&M and bestseller Vera Modern. And they purchase entire cotton, which sir was talking about blockchain. Because whenever you go to Europe, people will ask who made my clothes. They need traceability, from which farm this cotton is produced, from which farm the cotton is produced. Is there any child labor? So this type of traceability we are maintaining for each and every brand, because as a businesswoman, we are supplying lots of cotton to H&M, Zara, Besser, Nike, Adidas, some brands. Also, we are supplying rice, wheat to Nestle, Mars company. But everybody today's, Deepak sir is right, blockchain. So Europe people or any people wanted to from where we getting food. But the only thing is that we have money to develop a blockchain, but we don't have a money to pay 2 rupees more to the farmers. This is reality. Say yes or no, but this is reality, right? So this type of innovation we are doing at the field level, where one farm, generally farmers are doing monocropping, so cotton to cotton, soybean to soybean, and because of that we are facing so much food security, malnutrition. For remove these things, we are developing small package of practice which is economical viable. We are giving support. Our motto is soil to sell. So we are handholding, giving support to soil tasting to their market supply. So out of 80,000 farmer, almost our 30,000 farms, which means 2 to 3 hectare land each farmer. So this 60,000 hectare of land having multi-cropping with more than 3 or 4 crops. So they are having pulses, they are having cotton, they are having vegetable, they are having agroforestry. These two things we are basically focusing for biodiversity and climate change, which Deepak sir told. And this is reality, and data says if we not save our soil carbon or soil, we lose almost 80% of land by 2050. But the problem is that how we execute. Like soil organic carbon sir told me. So nowadays we started that whatever agriculture waste, just burn it, use it as a biochar. This is what execution part, but still India farmers are very far away from AI. So how we can reach to these things? And another problem, I think grassroots level who are working, they facing, none of young generation want to do farming practices. Because in India we are not taking farming as a business. We are just taking care of our land, waiting for when we can get good money off that land. This is reality. So all the data says data says we are second after China for production of vegetable and fruits. We are second in rice production after China. We are good in wheat, but rest of the system still we are not parallel with other country.
No sir, even in wheat and rice, our productivity is half of China.
Half of China, yeah.
Half of the land to produce more
exactly.
rice than us.
Because we are not using any technology at rural level.
Can I just do one intervention?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's panel discussion.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Madam has been very right. Why farmers should be using AI, right? What we have done is that सबसे कमजोर बच्चे के ऊपर सबसे ज़्यादा भार डाल दिया है. He has to pay 15. See, the cost of using the digital technology, which will impact farmer, increase his yields and income and productivity by close to 15-20%, is 1,500 rupees per year. अब 1,500 रुपए किसान देगा तो बच्चे को दूध दिला पाएगा. तो 1,500 रुपए नहीं देता. I agree with you. Now, our fertilizer subsidy is 1.7 lakh crore, and I am just talking about this 13 crore farmer, 17,000 crore only. If government just passes 10% of fertilizer subsidy to AI intervention and give that subsidy for saying that anybody use AI tool, government will pay 1500 rupees per farmer, right? Still it will make sense, they will make more, save more money in giving subsidy. So that, the problem is that intention, problem is that political economics में फर्टिलाइजर की थैली के ऊपर फोटो आती है, AI में नहीं आएगी.
So we are daily dealing with this type of dynamics, because when we are going to the farmers and they saying that this is your soil report, farmers said madam क्या soil report करता है, वो दुकान वाले ने बोला है 2 थैली डाल तो हो जाएगा. So still farmer in India is going, farmers doctor is pesticide shop.
Exactly.
Farmers are sitting under fan and pesticide shopkeepers sleeping in AC. This is scenario in India. So execution level we are facing so many problems, and because of that we are just doing some innovation in execution. So we are trying with our efforts, we reached to 70% sustainable goal. Out of 17 we covered 13 with our practices, and through this we are also not doing free. So don't do it. We are taking money. We need money. We need money for my car petrol and everything. But yes, what we are doing, our model is that we are asking brands what you require. He said we need 30 mm dhaga. Fine, we'll give you. For 30 mm dhaga, if the market cost is 60,000, you have to pay me 70,000 or 65,500 rupees. Out of that, after all expenses, 20% of the money is always utilizing for farming practice development.
Great.
So this type of things we are doing, and on technology platform, I want to urge that all our technical expert, IT experts,
They are here only.
all are here. So find out small things. See, we have to start with one village and we have to replicate those models.
Correct. Pilot correct.
So if you can ready to do pilot with one project, that we can try this technology for 100 farmers. We can capture all the benefits, and those farmer will say another farmer that this is what I get from technology, and then the scenario will change, because peer-to-peer farming practices adoption level is highest. Rather we can give lectures or anything. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, please.
So there is one more thing actually, like we all love our cows and buffaloes. You'll be surprised that actually we are having highest population of cattle in India, but again our productivity is low. So once they stop giving milk, right, it becomes a liability for us as a society, as for the farmer also.
Yeah.
Now actually there are CBG plants which give slurry, and people try to use directly the slurry, which is not the right way. You can actually use nanotechnology to extract, and that cow which is not giving milk, their byproduct as an organic fertilizer would be actually more rewarding than the milk itself. So start thinking on those lines also.
Yeah.
I will take only one
Yeah.
second. But there is another scenario that is my research. Hetal is telling you. I have done research for NDDB, and the scenario is that day by day we are losing animal husbandry.
Yeah.
The reason is that when you go to Saurashtra side, बच्चे बोलेंगे कि अगर घर में 10 गाय है तो कोई बेटी नहीं देगा, क्योंकि पढ़ी हुई बेटियों को गायों के साथ काम नहीं
सही है.
When you go towards Gandhinagar, I am not in casteism, culture, anything, but this is the real research data. When you go to beyond Gandhinagar, Patan, Himmatnagar side, बेटियों को वहाँ के रिसर्च में आया कि बेटियों को 7-8 स्टैंडर्ड के बाद पढ़ाते नहीं हैं. And I asked why. तो उन्होंने बोला कि बहन बच्ची पढ़ लेगी तो गाय का काम नहीं करेगी. So हम एक जजमेंट दे देते हैं कि देखो सौराष्ट्र में गाय भैंस नहीं है और हिम्मतनगर में बहुत है, लेकिन वे बहुत होने के पीछे वहाँ की लड़कियाँ आज भी नहीं पढ़ पा रही. So where is the dynamics? That is also a question mark for us.
So
Thank
that's
you.
a classic paradox. Hetal, when you explained, Deepak ji, what you said is very right. Let me share one example with all of you. 9 years back, I had a PhD student who came and he said, "Sir, I am conducting research on that." When we studied the facts, we came to know 33,000 crore rupees of government of India is going wasted for excess fertilizer subsidy. Fertilizer चाहिए नहीं, लेकिन वो आप 1 थैली 2 थैली डाल देते हैं ना, उससे देश का 33,000 करोड़ रुपया तो ऐसे ही वेस्ट हो जाता है, और आपके पेट में आता है जहर NPK का. So that knowledge is equally important, quality, quantity, awareness, and on every front if we'll work hard, then probably we can have some midway to reduce this toxic in our body, and due to that infertility problem is there, indigestion, gas, acidity, hypertension, all of this come because we are not having the right farming practices. So we need to improve with the technology. Obviously we'll use AI, Deepak ji, and next what Mihir ji will discuss, it's all about technology intervention again.
Yeah, sorry. So just a couple of, I will take around 10 minutes. We also have some young farmers. जैसे अभी बात हुआ कि young लोग farming नहीं कर रहे, but we are continuously as a part of our CSR. Basically, we are in B2G business, but for farmer we are doing some CSR activities since long back. So farmers are also there. They will share their experience ke how the technology is helping them and is going to help. Of course, there are always a drawbacks. So it's a theme. AgriTech is the weather forecasting and climate change. So we already recently witnessed a lot of climate change in India. This is the content. So first is if we consider the current rainfall scenario all over across the India, हम लोग कह रहे हैं कि भी monsoon is far better than compared to last 5-10 years or average 50 years or average 25 years later. We have 8% monsoon. But if we consider that there are a lot of parts in India still struggling with low rainfall. So around 39 sub-districts means taluka or tehsil or mandal are facing drought kind of situation. 953 talukas are facing rainfall shortage between 20 to 59%. Of course, in Gujarat, if I specifically come to Gujarat data, this year the season is totally bad for farming. Around 30-50% crop is about to lose or because of the heavy rainfall. And the rainfall is like एक ही दिन में मतलब 14 inch, 15 inch in some of the part. और if you consider the देवभूमि द्वारका और पोरबंदर और जूनागढ़, वहाँ पे हर एक मंथ में एंड में 10-10 इंच, 14 इंच मतलब 14 इंच, 15 इंच, 250 millimeter you can say in millimeter in one particular day. So in Gujarat we have received around 66 days of extremely heavy rainfall events. This is classified by IMD as per the definition. So पूरा मानसून अगर 120 डेज का अभी मैं कंसिडर करता हूँ, वी हैव अराउंड 66 डेज वेयर एक ही दिन में 204 मिलीमीटर से ज़्यादा बारिश हो चुकी है गुजरात में पर्टिकुलरली. दिस इज द सिनारियो ऑफ हाउ द रेनफॉल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. हम लोग कहते हैं कि जून में एक्टिविटी स्टार्ट हो जाती है, वी हैव सोइंग टाइम और सोइंग विंडो फ्रॉम 15 जून, बट इन एट द एंड ऑफ द जून वी आर फेसिंग एंटायरली वी ऑब्जर्व दैट रेनफॉल इज नॉट प्रॉपर फॉर सोइंग ऑल्सो. Again in July, in some of the part, the rainfall is very high. Again, if you witness the Kutch, जैसे कच्छ का डेजर्ट एरिया है, it is facing totally a climate change. अभी कच्छ में लास्ट 4 से 5 साल में और पर्टिकुलरली इस साल में बहुत बारिश हुई है, राइट. वेस्टर्न ऑफशोर एरिया अगर आप देखेंगे तो एवरी ईयर वी आर फेसिंग एनी कैलामिटीज. कभी साइक्लोन आ गया है, कभी रेनफॉल आ गया है, कभी मई में साइक्लोन आ रहा है, कभी सितंबर में साइक्लोन आ रहा है, राइट. सो एंटायर वेस्ट कोस्ट ऑफ गुजरात, इवन साउथ गुजरात are facing extreme climate changes from last 5 to 6 years. और ये condition as per study area, research area और भी degrade होगी, right? और भी climate change होगा. ऐसी भी study आई है कि maybe 50 years, 100 years post this we have a complete opposite scenario. मतलब गुजरात का पूरा वेस्ट कोस्ट एरिया है वो पूरा हिमालय जैसा मतलब स्नोफॉल फेस करेगा. Maybe it's a study, it is published also. Again in September we have very high rainfall. These are some of the photographs, live photograph. आप देखेंगे तो farmer are facing very bad conditions because of the excess rain, and most of the crops are cotton, groundnut, castor, right. कहाँ पे farmer ने, if you consider one good example कि इस बार farmer गुजरात में आप देखेंगे तो 125% सोयाबीन हुआ है. मतलब the cropping pattern is changed. बट जो फार्मर ने क्रॉपिंग सोयाबीन लगाया है 30% फार्मर आर फेसिंग लॉसेस हियर. उन्होंने सोयाबीन लगाया बिकॉज ऑफ MSP इज देयर, बिकॉज द मार्केट ऑफ सोयाबीन विद द यूज ऑफ दिस सोया चिप्स एंड प्रोटीन नाउ द मार्केट ग्रोज. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली बिकॉज ऑफ द इवेंट वी सी ऑन द ग्राउंड दैट अराउंड 25% ऑफ द सोयाबीन क्रॉप लॉस. तो फार्मर ने क्रॉप को चेंज तो किया, मतलब अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसको कोई पे आउट नहीं मिलेगा. These are some of the photographs. आप देखेंगे तो ये आपको लगेगा it's like a Kerala Periyar lake, but it's not. It's a farm, particularly with the geotech location of देवभूमि द्वारका. This is again a farm. This is again a dry conditions in June के जहाँ पे बारिश ही नहीं हो रही. सो इम्पैक्ट ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज हम सब जानते हैं, मतलब टू कीप इट सिंपल के क्रॉप ग्रोथ साइकिल जो मेरा चेंज हो रहा है, मतलब पहले मैं जून में सोइंग कर रहा था, नाउ वी आर सोइंग इन द मंथ ऑफ जुलाई ऑल्सो। जैसे आपने अभी पिजन पी और चिकपी का किया, वी रियलाइज दैट कि अभी गुजरात में तुअर का सोइंग हुआ ही नहीं है, राइट। जनरली भरूच एरिया और साउथ गुजरात में तुअर का सोइंग हो रहा है, बट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस क्लाइमेट चेंज रेन इस बार तुअर एंड कैस्टर का सोइंग लेट हो रहा है। सेम वी कैन ऑब्जर्व इन द आंध्र प्रदेश के, जहाँ पे मतलब पैडी बहुत अच्छा ग्रो हो रहा था, इट इज़ अबाउट टू हार्वेस्ट बट अभी तक हुआ नहीं है। सो क्रॉप ग्रोथ साइकिल चेंज हो रहा है, पेस्ट एंड डिजीज आपके बढ़ रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द रेन एंड अदर थिंग। वाटर स्ट्रेस वी आर फेसिंग इन सम ऑफ द एरियाज के, बहुत ज़्यादा पानी हो रहा है। वी आर ऑल्सो सीइंग द कंडीशंस के काफ़ी सारा इंडिया में जो पार्ट है, इन सम पार्ट ऑफ द यूपी ऑल्सो वी आर फेसिंग द वाटर स्ट्रेस, सॉइल डिग्रेडेशन। So these are the technologies of the future. It's again a simple technology. Anyone can. We will not discussing more about the details, but yes, precision agriculture, regenerative agriculture. Now, as Madam mentioned, that agroforestry. In Karnataka, we seen that there are a lot of agroforestry crops are there. Coconut, banana, and farmer are sowing particularly paddy crop. Here in Valsad also we observed that mango crop is there and paddy is there in between. So these are the practices we already follow, our ancestors also followed, but now it is a reality that we have to go for more and more such kind of mixed crop, multiple crop, intercropping, AI based weather forecasting, mobile advisory apps. So all these technologies are going to be a future. Blockchain is also there. So IoT-enabled transformation, precision agriculture, automated livestock, these are all the things we can easily available on the Google also, but how we can implement, it's a challenge for us also. So these are the challenges, lack of awareness, workflow, मतलब फार्मर का एक रेजिस्टेंस आता है कि मैं चेंज क्यों हो, देन ROI हमें पता नहीं है, इवन फार्मर ऑल्सो नॉट नो, राइट, बिकॉज फॉर फार्मर 4 मंथ का सीजन होता है, इफ दैट पर्टिकुलर सीजन फेल है तो उसको कोई भी ही इज नॉट एबल टू अर्न एनीथिंग। सो ROI वी एज अ टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनी वी हैव टू प्रूव yet कि ROI इज फाइन with the help of this all this IoT, AI, ML. Lack of connectivity, data security and privacy are always a concern. We have limited technical expertise, scalability and maintenance, environmental challenges. These are some of the videos. I think I will share the presentation also, it is available on net. So I will these are how we are, if you can play. These are how we are predicting, or the software or a typical IoT platform will provide you the information about the temperature, forecasting, everything. These are rainfall, humidity, wind speed. So these are the 4 main parameters for agriculture. These are the current weather and forecasted. So this all we can, a technology can help us to provide all this information to mobile app for a farmer. This is how farmer will receive the advisories on the mobile application for the particular crop zone. So these are the platform where we can type the advisories. University, agriculture universities has to play a very good role here. This is how the pest and disease are going to be infestated. Just I will invite some of the young farmers who are working with us. And they are in this particular field also. They haven't left the agriculture activities yet. I can ask them to share their experience also. So it will be better for young audience and larger.
હેલો, મારું નામ ધવલ પટેલ છે. હું નવસારી ડિસ્ટ્રિક્ટના બોરવા ગામે રહું છું. એમનેક્સ એપ્લિકેશનની આપણા જે એપ્લિકેશન બનાવી છે, ક્રોપ ટ્રેક કરીને નામ છે, એ એપ્લિકેશનમાં અમે જે ખેતી કરીએ છીએ એમાં ખૂબ જ સારું એવું અમને માહિતી મળે છે, જેનાથી અમે અમારા પાકના સારા એવા ઉત્પાદન માટે અમે કરી શકીએ છીએ. હવે ધારો કે મારે કોઈ પાક રોપવો હોય તો એના માટે મારી જમીનને મારા કયા પોષક તત્વોની અંદર ઉણપ છે એની જાણકારી મળે છે. તેથી મારે એવા ફર્ટિલાઇઝર નાખવાની જરૂર નથી જે મારા જમીનમાં ઓલરેડી છે, જેનો મારે પાકને કંઈ પેલું થવાનું જ નથી, એનો કોઈ પેલું નથી. પછી બીજી એક એમાં ફેસિલિટી એવી છે જેમાં આપણે જે પાકમાં રોગ આવ્યો હોય તો એ પાકના રોગને સ્પેસિફિક આપણે ઓળખી શકીએ, પછી એના માટે કઈ દવા નાખવાની છે જે સ્પેસિફિક બધું આપણને જાણવા મળે છે. બીજું એ એપ્લિકેશનની અંદર આપણને સરકારીની દરેક માહિતી, સરકારી યોજનાઓ જેવી કે સબસિડી છે, કાંઈ પ્લાવ પર સબસિડી છે કે બીજું બધી સબસિડી, એ બધી સબસિડીની માહિતી અમને એમાં જ મળી રહે છે. ને એમાં બીજી બી એક પેલું છે કે મારા ખેતી અંદર કાંઈ બી મૂંઝવણ હોય તો મારે એ મૂંઝવણને ખેતી જાણકાર જોડે આપણે ચેટ કરીને જોવું હોય તો એ પણ હું કરી શકું છું એમાં, એ એપ્લિકેશનમાં.
Thank you. Yeah, Dhawan Patel has briefly described the application. Mirji, please. Hi. Okay.
From my side, thank you.
So please, Mirji. We need to appreciate the timing, and that's why we keep it very short and simple. Nice application. Lastly, if I sum up, then Amnex technologies, they are having a great intervention, and through that they are doing the weather forecasting. Obviously, we have remote sensing, artificial intelligence, blockchain. These are all the solutions. But what rightly Deepak ji said that 1,500 rupee for digitization, if we spend, then it may solve many of the issues. But still, government need to think in this direction. Obviously, in morning we have interaction with Additional Chief Secretary of Chief Minister Office, Mr. M.K. Das, and he invited Deepak ji and a team that what intervention in Gujarat we can do so far as AgriTech is concerned. So a lot more to do in this domain. And if I'll see one questions we'll ask further Deepak ji ki what will be the one-line solution for Gujarat and India so far as crop prediction and matching the global standard in AgriTech if you want to set?
No, very interesting question. So I would say that whenever I'm engaging with the government or the stakeholders in the industry, I always say that actually we have to take the productivity on a mission board. India cannot do anything better for our farmers until unless we just focus on one word, right? Everything else is waste of time. Focus on productivity, productivity, productivity. Now the second part, the productivity, we should not be losing the sight of sustainability as well. Climate change is a reality. Madam very rightly said actually the green revolution. That time I think in 1960s and 70s the requirement was to ensure that immediate availability of food because actually America said that they'll dump the wheat in the ocean rather than giving it to a country like India. So we had that challenge. Now it is very important for us to understand that today the farmer need to, when he said that regenerative agriculture or organic farming, I'm not a big fan of organic because it's always like a sometimes misused term. But yes, definitely we can go back to the nature and nature is having a lot of bounty for us to use that productivity in a sustainable manner. And at the third point, which is very important, when we are using technology, farmer cannot pay. We have to evolve business model, and you'll be surprised that in some of the African countries, the technology adoption is faster or better because there are a lot of donor fund is there. Our government is sufficiently capable of investing in our own agriculture. We don't even need donations. So I believe the public sector or the governments has to take that role of putting more funds to ensure that digitization happens. And believe me, digitization and biotechnology, these are the only two ways we can solve the problem of productivity in India. And for biotechnology, the government of India has been very smart. They have done one thing. There is a technology called CRISPR-Cas, which is gene editing. Actually, gene editing and modification are not very different. Editing means modification, right? But they have done SDN1 and SDN2 to be considered non-GMO, right? So I believe the government is taking few steps in right direction, and the way forward, India would be biggest producer of all possible crop which we consume. And all the best to Indian farmers and government.
Thank you. One line in regenerative agriculture. One line.
One line, climate smart agriculture with digitization.
Great.
Thank you.
Climate smart agriculture. Mirji, one line if you want to conclude in one line about your entire weather forecast.
Weather is unpredictable, so it requires a lot of research and data, and lot of weather stations are required.
Okay, so I decipher, I interpret his line like that. Data is oil, is soil. I am refining it. Deepak ji and me used to say earlier data was only oil, but now it's soil. How many times if you grow and use them, they will be for the better of the country. Thank you very much all the panelists for the beautiful time and keeping it short to the time. Thank you audience for patiently listening the entire conversation. Thank you very much. We are signing off as AgriTech. Thank you. Yeah. I request Satyaji. भी रहना आप जो यजमान है उसको भूल जाते हैं वो तो ऐसा ही होता है Thank you.
No, sure.